yet again, should probably not peruse YouTube after 10 p.m. because it will get me thinking and it will help me not sleep. And I always read the Bible when I wake up and before I go to bed. So it's the first thing, the Word of God is the first thing in the beginning of the day and the last thing before I go to bed. And I'm up to Proverbs right now. And in Proverbs 8, 8:13, if you respect the Lord, you will hate evil. I hate pride and conceit and deceitful lies. And I'm just thinking, I mean, I saw a video earlier that was very hateful of homosexuality. And I'm just wondering, why can't I hate homosexuality? I mean, you're supposed to hate evil, you're supposed to hate sin. But I can't hate homosexuality. I believe it's a sign of a broken sexuality. I believe it's a mental disorder akin to obsessive compulsive disorder, which I have personal experience with. It used to be considered a disorder, and then it was not. And I feel sorry for homosexuals. I feel sorry that they have the desire, that they don't have the attraction, the normal attraction that everyone else does. I feel sorry that, and I have to be very careful here, because I know this, I'm probably going to offend both liberals and fundamentalists. But I just felt like I needed to say this. I believe that we are broken people living in a broken world, living with broken sexuality. I believe that there are a generation of hookups and having sex just to feel something, just for pleasure, but not for love. And I mean, I've been reading things about homosexuality, about what possible causes. I mean, whether it is just genetic, whether it is revolving with the life, the home life, nature versus nurture. And I think it might be just like OCD. It's a little bit of both. And I mean, I could be wrong. I'm not saying I don't know for sure. It's just that's what I believe from my experiences. But from the fundamentalist right, there's no compassion. There's no, I mean, I was listening to a Bible study podcast about this subject and basically equated it with like drug addicts. Well, you might have been genetically predisposed to be drug addicts, but you wouldn't use that as an excuse. I'm not saying as an excuse, but compassion for them. I mean, this is a situation that, I mean, sometimes I think homosexuality is a test. Like the modern version of homosexuality is a test to say, how will we treat it? How will we deal with it? And I think the religious right are failing because they're not doing it with love and compassion. I mean, some are, but some are doing it with like self-loathing, like in things of Christians growing up with these feelings of self-loathing and judgmental and names like sissies and things like that, and no compassion is there. And I mean, it must be very easy to just say they're the other sin. It's easy to hate the other, but I mean, we're all sinners, and there is no hate on the religious right of greed, of racism, of I mean, some are guilty of adultery until they are or speaking out against adultery until they're caught in adultery. He without sin should not cast the first stone. And I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, the left are saying that what Paul was discussing in Romans was cultic sexual prostitution. And that the SNK describing homosexuality in Timothy was describing effeminate young boys who offered themselves for money and as a pagan sacrifice to have sex, the temple steps. And I don't know. But yet, some of these same people who hate homosexuals and especially some of those that quote Leviticus and say that that they should be stoned, then Mel Gibson should be stoned, Swaggart should be stoned. They committed adultery in the same book. Leviticus said that adulterers should be stoned. So it's kind of like it's easy to point out the sin that we're straight. We don't deal with the shame. We don't deal with those feelings. So it's easy to just point fingers. And also I kind of think the people who are most the anti-homosexual are just one generation removed from segregation. Now, if the people were still saying Jim Crow, I mean, if their fathers were saying Jim Crow laws are wrong, we have to, segregation is wrong, is an evil, then I'd probably give their interpretations, their views on homosexuality more weight. But Pat Robinson's father was a congressman a congressman and senator who wrote, I think it was the Southern Manifesto, that basically decried integration. And I mean, in the Southern Baptist Church was born out of slavery. I mean, they've apologized for it, and they're making strides of being a more racially integrated church, but I wish it was more clear-cut. Also, their spokespeople seem to love money more than their fellow man. They're prideful. And so they're divorced. They've committed adultery. And so these give me doubt about what if this, what if this saying is wrong when you see the same people who are saying that homosexuals today are not like the homosexuals of the Bible. They're the same people who were against segregation. I get confused. And yet I hate sexual immorality. I hate adultery. I hate fornication without love, without marriage, without commitment. I hate greed. I hate exploitation. I hate self-righteous pride. I hate all those things. But I can't, no matter how much I try, hate homosexuality. I don't know what's wrong with me. Or maybe something is right with me on that. But think about it. Do you hate all the other things as well? Or just homosexuality? God bless.